So, welcome everyone to this Global Youth Dialogue. The time has come for young people to raise their voices.
Hi, Victor, we are with you.
Okay, the time has come for young people to be heard. Over the years, young people have proven to be key players to global development, and it has become very, very pertinent for us to look into this critical matter because young people have been marginalized and they have been tagged with wrong narratives, such as being unproductive, violent, and the likes, of which are very bad to the young people. And although they have proven to be very, very key to the global community, yet they've been marginalized. And we gathering here today, we seek to see how we can make the voice of young people heard, and we seek to find the roles of young people in the global development. Now, history has shown that young people play substantial role in the transforming global community. And in this regard, we have come to find a way out, to chart the way forward on how young people can contribute to the development of our world. And once again, I would love to welcome every one of us to this global dialogue. And also, I would love to welcome especially our phenomenal speakers. First of all, I would love to welcome the CEO of the Hack for Earth Foundation, an amazing intellectual Amazon in person of Anne Molly. And also, I would love to welcome the Global Director of the Sustainable Development Solution Network Youth, in person of Bright Kilma, and all our wonderful panelists right here present. I welcome you. My name is Melchizedek Victor, the founder of the Young African Innovators Hub, a youth-led organization that seeks to upscale Africa's productivity by promoting the creativities made by young people and also empowering young people with skills in the bid to foster the growth of Africa's economy, which in turn will contribute greatly to global development. And so, without taking much of our time, I would love to welcome our first keynote speaker in person of Bright Kilma. Hello, Mr. Kilma.
Hi, Victor. Good afternoon and good morning, depending on where everybody joining us is currently based. Would you like me to switch on my camera? Just wanted to check.
Okay, you can. Thank you. Yes, welcome. Yeah, welcome to this event.
I'm very excited to be joining everybody today, and it's a very huge pleasure to have this rare privilege of interacting and engaging with young people. I bring you greetings from SDSN Youth, and most importantly, I would like to equally extend my gratitude to our partners, Hack for Earth Foundation, that has been working with us over the last few months to bring and amplify youth voices in the development space. But most importantly, to give young people a platform to hack and co-create solutions for sustainable development. And we're very excited to be partnering with you. I'm also very excited to Victor and the team that have been orchestrating this process over the last few months. I believe the wheels started turning way back before we came to what we are seeing today as a very incredible event. I want to just emphasize a couple of points about youth development, specifically in the context of the different headwinds that we are faced with. On the other front, we are faced with the climate crisis, which is affecting young people in so many different ways. We are seeing droughts, which is making agriculture innovations by young people very challenging. When you go on the other side, we are seeing floods affecting young entrepreneurs in Bangladesh. When you go to Malawi and my home country, Zambia, you see, droughts that have over the years affected the productivity of young entrepreneurs. But as we are confronted with climate change, we are seeing that biodiversity loss is becoming another great challenge. We are seeing a huge and unprecedented loss of species, both plant species and animal species of different kinds. The recent IUCN report highlighted this grave reality and shone a light on ways through which we can be able to protect and safeguard our natural resources. Because when you go back to the SDGs, we cannot achieve any of the sustainable development goals if we do not take care of the biosphere. We can't achieve any of the goals if we don't take care of the one thing that we share in common, which is planet Earth. So that gives us a foundation from which to be able to sustain ourselves as humanity. But also we are confronted with huge zoonoses and pandemics, from the COVID-19 to other viral diseases like HIV and AIDS. We are equally confronted with poor access to comprehensive sexuality education by young people in different parts of the world. We are seeing huge rates of challenges from the health and reproductive health side, which young people are facing. But also we are seeing this huge challenge of the invisible health conditions, which is mental health challenges. And we are seeing that the pandemic has even exacerbated these challenges among the youth constituencies around the world. But we are also seeing challenges of disinclusion of young people in political spaces, disinclusion of young people in development spaces. So these are all the tectonic plates that we are seeing sliding in different areas. But at the same time, we are seeing young people defying all odds and going against any challenges that confront them. We're seeing innovations in the face of these catastrophic challenges. We're seeing innovations in green economic development. We're seeing innovations in reproductive health, where young people are creating solutions using technology, Internet of Things, and blockchain to be able to sustain and promote the welfare and well-being of their communities. So you're seeing young people in different areas being able to step up to the plate and confront these challenges head on. That's why SDSN Youth and many organizations like the Hack for Earth Foundation come in to provide the platform, but also to provide the tools that young people can harness in order to confront these challenges. We do know the challenges, we do have the solutions, but how do we mobilize youth constituencies for us to be able to scale these solutions to a much greater height? And I'll speak a little bit more about SDSN Youth and how through the network of member organizations and young people from around the world, we are providing the right tools and skills to create solutions and accelerate progress towards the SDGs. That also speaks to the emphasis of what do young people in this generation need to create mass impact? I think what they need is knowledge and the tools. They need knowledge and the tools that can be in this toolbox, which they can arm themselves with as they go in communities to confront these challenges. This knowledge and tools includes the skills, includes the competencies. It includes also the networks and alliances with other like-minded people. But on top of having the tools and the knowledge, they also need a platform from which to be able to amplify their messages. And that's where Hack for Earth and my colleague and our partner, Anne Moline, will speak more to what Hack for Earth is doing. But it's a platform that is really helping young people to contribute to shaping the global development agenda in so many different ways using technology. I'm an ambassador for Act for Earth, and over the last few months, we've seen members of SDSN Youth from around the world contribute to shaping what Anne will speak about in our keynote address. But also I want to challenge young people. We are in a world where we are all interconnected. Think about how you can work with other young people in the United Arab Emirates, in Sweden, in Nairobi, Kenya, in Kathmandu, in Bangladesh, and in many other parts of the world. Because of technology and how connected we've become, it has even become extremely, extremely impeccable to think about how you can create connections and alliances with others. Because we are in a generation where time for being a lone ranger has long gone. The only development and the only progress you can make is by working in unison with others, working in alliance with others. And that requires a great deal of openness to collaboration. Secondly, I would want to also challenge you to think about ways through which you can be able to create groundbreaking innovation. Don't conform to the status quo. Think about how you can be able to bring in those that don't believe in development and don't have the same mindset like you do. Think about people in your communities that haven't had knowledge and access to training on, say, climate change or diversity. Think about other means through which you can reach the last mile. And that calls for collaboration and alliance building with others. But most importantly, think about how you can build new skills. What competencies do you see lacking within yourself that you can build within yourself? What competencies and skills can you leverage from other organizations near where you are? Reach out to other people, reach out to other organizations, and continuously seek to equip this toolbox of yours with the right knowledge, the right tools, the right networks, and the right connections, but also the right skill sets that can allow you to even be more successful in whatever you do. And in summary, I want to assure you that we are here for you. We're here to support you. We are here to make sure that you're successful, and we'll do that. We'll commit to our mission of being present as we help you accelerate solutions for sustainable development. This is not an academic exercise. This is a process that means transformation for people that are suffering and going through great challenges. And we take this seriously. We take you seriously, and we'll make sure that we are there to provide you with the networks and the alliances and the skills you need to be successful. That's why SDSN Youth has a mission of accelerating youth solutions for sustainable development. And we are doing that by giving young people pathways to knowledge, understanding, and most importantly, action. So I challenge you to continue being action-oriented in whatever you do, but be open-minded to creating alliances, be open-minded to creating partnerships, and realize that we can only achieve progress at scale if we can create alliances and not conform to the status quo or the business as usual. And we are here to be there and give you the much needed support that you desire. And in this decade of action, where biodiversity and ecosystem restoration is at the pinnacle of development, we want to make sure that whatever we do in our own personal lives and in our community lives, we prioritize restoration of nature, restoration of our breaking ecological systems, but everything should begin small and gradually improve and create something that can solve the problems of millions and millions of people. And in summary, I want to reiterate that we shall be there to give you the support that you need, and we shall take you seriously, and we shall introduce you to the right people, and we shall make sure that we are there to give you the much needed support. But most importantly, and as I close, think as yourself as an instrument of change. Think as yourself as a vehicle that is going to create change for other people. And if change begins with you, you have to equip yourself with the right tools, the right skills, the right networks, and the right connections necessary to create impact, meaningful impact in your community. I thank you, and I look forward to engaging with all of you and being able to see how you progress with all your ideas and solutions to create a better world for everyone. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing, Mr. Kilmer. I'm so glad you, the way you presented, and I actually got so many things from what you said, and particularly you said change begins with me, and so it's actually a strong word you sent us today. Change begins with me. Change begins with every youth and all across the world. Now, before we move further, permit me to just ask you questions, and before Praise Akogo takes over from here, while I resolve my technical issues. First of all, as a young leader, as a youth leader on the global landscape, so many young people are looking up to you, and they would love to know how you started. Were there challenges, or did you just emerge? Were there things that came across your path and you were able to overcome them? How were you able to overcome them? Please, can you throw more light on this for the benefit of those that may not know about your background? Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. I think I would want to preface this question by stating that the silver lining to the crisis we are collectively surviving is that we have a unique opportunity for transformation and course correction. And in fact, it is our responsibility to rebuild forward better. And in doing so, we need to ensure that all change is systemic, it's sustainable, and ultimately leads to disrupting the status quo. So when I reflect on my own journey, it was about confronting problems that I observed. And I considered the environment in which I was born as a classroom where learning emerged, a classroom where I saw challenges, a classroom where I decided not to be a bystander, but by taking action. I was born in Zambia, on the Copper Belt province of Zambia. So this is one of the most industrialized provinces, primarily because of copper and the extractive industry. So as you might know, Zambia is one of the leading copper producers on the African continent and globally. So that also reminds us that there are quite a number of negative environmental externalities that come as a result of copper smelter and copper extraction and the extraction of minerals. So I would see very often how pollution from time to time would cause respiratory infections. There were moments where you go to the nearest clinic and you'd see a very long queue of women with babies on their back, majority of them exhibiting similar respiratory conditions. There were moments where, you know, bridges would be washed away that connect schools and communities within our neighborhoods. There were moments where, in times of droughts, young people and children were forced to walk extra miles to draw water. So climate change started becoming a human rights issue because it was not helping young people to grow up in an environment that was conducive for them to thrive and grow and become productive citizens. So in most cases, they were forced at the expense of being in a classroom to walk an extra mile, for example, to draw water in times of droughts. When bridges were washed away, they were forced to walk to stay home because there were not any other, you know, adaptive capacities of the community to cope with the changing climate. So there were all these environmental challenges that I observed growing up, right? And when I was like 14, 15, I realized that every morning when we woke up, we'd turn the radio on and the announcer would play music. The announcer would tell you what the weather was going to be. So radio was the lifeblood of the community in which I was raised. It was a trusted medium of information. It was accessible, it was cheap. And most importantly, it connected the community to the broader development dispensation in the country. So I thought, nobody is using this platform to speak about the climate crisis. Nobody is holding leaders to account about the pollution happening in our streams from which we draw water to irrigate our crops. Nobody is holding anybody accountable for the respiratory conditions that are affecting children who are also putting a toll on the health system. So I started seeing, the environmental challenges from that systemic perspective. Pollution would affect children, and that would put a toll on the health system, meaning government would spend more money in treating preventable, non-communicable conditions like cancers, for example, and other respiratory conditions such as asthmas. So then I went to a radio station, approached the radio station manager, sought the idea of using radio as a medium of dialogue and communication in the community. And I started running a radio show when I was 14, 15, somewhere there. And it was bringing experts from the community, such as leaders in business. It was bringing experts from the university that had studied climatology and forestry. It was also bringing corporations to speak about what they were doing for environmental remediation, but most importantly, how they were being responsible in their supply chains. So we would engage in a face-to-face live dialogue with the community. And what I learned through that was that sometimes when you observe a challenge, don't be a bystander. Decide to do something. Decide to take that next step to act and not just complain. I saw a problem, I decided to act, and afterwards we saw an extension of this work across the Southern African region, where young people started using radio and using the same model to be able to speak about the challenges that they were faced with in their community. So we saw a replication of this model and idea to other parts of the African continent. And that reminds me that your community is like a classroom. Identify challenges in it. Decide not to just be a bystander. Co-create solutions with others. If a model works, replicate it to other places, while understanding the local nuances and challenges and opportunities that lie in that new environment. So that was my journey, growing up as a teenager, as a young child in an African context. Then I went on to co-found a nonprofit. I went on to work with UNICEF, helping them coordinate their children's programs through using innovation and technology. Then I went into consulting in parts of Asia and Europe. And then I'm right now in the US, where after I graduated from Columbia University, I joined what I saw as a mission-driven organization, which is the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network, which is working with over 5,000 young people from around the world, giving them the right tools and showing them the right path to creating solutions for sustainable development. And most importantly, helping them domesticate SDGs by taking one step at a time, taking one action at a time, and becoming ethical and authentic leaders in their own communities and organizations. Victor, over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Kilmer. That was so amazing. While you were speaking, I could vividly remember some of your videos which I watched online, and I heard about your impact story, how you started as a teenager from your country, and I would have loved to ask more questions, but because of our time, we hope to have more time with you at the course of the event, at the panel discussion. And so I will hand over to Praise Akubo, and while she takes on the moderation, and I'll try to fix my the technical issue right here. Thank you. Over to you, Praise.
All right. Thank you, Victor. Can you hear me, everyone? Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, I want
Hello.
to be sure it's very clear. Is it very clear?
I can barely hear you over here.
All right. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. Hello?
Okay, without
Hello,
wasting
Chris?
much time, since you can hear me. Okay, I'll really be certain you can all hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Okay, so without wasting much time, we'll be calling on Miss Anne Molin. But before that, we want to thank Mr. Brighton for your amazing section. It was really, really mind-blowing. And for youths like us, it's something we need to really, really uphold and keep on practicing. From all of what you said, it wasn't just coming from a point of knowledge, it was coming from a point of experience. And that's one thing we would love to hear from every of the speaker today, because experiential knowledge is what bets manifestations. So quickly, I'll be asking her some questions which would take us into our own section. So the first question I'll be asking her, I don't know if you can hear me, Ms. Anne Molin, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
All right, Ma, thank you very much. So first of all, we would love to know, okay, let me also put on my video. Okay, so first of all, we would love to know how you began from ideation to reality. Now, the truth is that every youth you see today, they actually have an idea within them, but they don't know how to bring it forth. So the first thing we would love to know is how you began in that dimension.
Thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you especially to Merci de Tech for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here because I really believe diversity is so important when it comes to innovation. And of course, young people is one of the groups that really need to be involved so much more in creating real solutions to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So to answer your question, Trace, how I began. Actually, I'm calling you today from Stockholm, Sweden, where I am from. And I have been working for the past few years for a Swedish government mission called Hack for Sweden. And that revolves around once a year, a hackathon. And a hackathon is a competition in innovation. So starting to work with this, I realized that hackathons, which was actually a very good tool in creating solutions in a very short time. Because the way a hackathon is arranged is that you invite anyone who wants to come, and it can be online or it can be in physical form. Of course, now the last year with Corona being upon us, I've organized mostly online hackathons, but before that, of course, we did it in real life. And then you have challenges that you predefined before that you work on. And a challenge is like a question. As you probably know, how you formulate a question will impact the answer. And it's the same thing with hackathons. So it's important to put a lot of focus on creating really good challenges for the hackathon. And then what is special about hackathon and also Hack for Earth that we're organizing now at the World Exhibition Expo 2020 in Dubai is that you can have people from all kinds of different walks of life join and work together on a common solution. And this kind of diversity, I really believe, is so important to create the solutions that we need for tomorrow. So to get really good height of innovation in the solutions that you create in a hackathon, and also otherwise as well, I believe, you need to bring together people with different, with diversity when it comes to competence, and also diversity when it comes to age, when it comes to gender, and when it comes to experience. So connecting different people, and not to have people who usually talk to each other in normal day life, but people who don't really connect otherwise, to bring them together and have them work on a common challenge together, that really creates a different kind of trust and relationship than you get if you just are in the same room talking together. So this is one way of also bringing more action to the table, because there's a lot of talking going on right now on the SDGs, and how we're going to create solutions for the global challenges, but not nearly enough action. So this is my way of bringing a platform for anyone who wants to be part of creating real solutions for global change. And to get back to your initial question, I found this out working for the government mission Hack for Sweden. And then in January this year, I actually quit my job in the public sector for the government in Sweden, and started the Hack for Earth Foundation. And the mission is clear: create citizen-driven innovation by inviting everyone who wants to be part of creating real change for our planet. Because I truly believe that it's not just the CEOs and the leaders of the world that need to take real action. Of course, they need to do more than they're doing now, but every single person on this planet has to realize that this is something we have to do together. And everyone is needed, and everyone's ideas, everyone's competence, everybody's experience has to be brought to the table. And we have to take care of that in order to create solutions to the 17 SDGs. Because there are a lot of challenges, but I know we can do it, but we can't do it if everybody sits on their own and not come together. So, yeah.
All right. Okay, that's actually a great one, ma'am. And what came to me particularly was the fact that you were stressing on collaboration, and you already have a platform whereby these young people who wants to really come out and create real solutions can reflect themselves. And that's an amazing one. And we are glad to really have you with us. And we hope that for those persons that are here already, they'll see this as a platform. I don't know, is the contest currently ongoing?
There's still time. Anyone can join Hack for Earth Hackathon. So you just have to be 16 years of age or older. And that is because we need to protect people who are younger. That's so that's the only thing, 16 years or older. And you have to have access to Wi-Fi and a computer. And also you need to be able to communicate in English. But if you have those, anyone can join from anywhere in the world. And the hackathon, global online hackathon, Hack for Earth, opens on October 22nd. And then it runs for 2 weeks. And you work as much as you can, and have as much as you have possibility for during those 2 weeks. And the reason for it being so long, 2 weeks, is that this is a global online hackathon. So make it possible to people to work together in the same team, but you may be on the different sides of the world. This is our solution. So, and you don't have to have a team already. You can compete all by yourself if you want to join solo, but we recommend that you join with team members. Either you have a team already, you just bring them along and you sign up at hackforearth.com, or we can help you find your team in a meet and match event that we are organizing. So you don't have to have your team ready. And also, this is not for only techie people, programmers, and stuff that most hackathons are for, a very exclusive group. This is for anyone who has a passion for creating real global change. So everybody's competence is needed, and you can create a solution that is techie, of course, if you find that that's what you want to work on. But you can also submit a solution that addresses the global challenges in some other way. And yeah, so before October 15th, Friday, October 15th, you have to sign up to be part of Hack for Earth. But I would like to encourage everyone who's listening to look at hackforearth.com, and we would be so happy to have you join Hack for Earth and bring your competence and your experience and your view of what is important to the table.
All right, ma'am. Okay, so I'm really excited to hear this, and thank God that there's still time for some persons here, and because after now we're still going to share this video to others, and I believe that there will still be some persons who would want to join. So our next question, because we have some questions here, so I'm just moderating and anchoring the questions. So another thing is, we actually do have some persons who they are interested in making or finding out real solutions, but they don't know who they are. They've not understood their purpose. So are there any tips you can give to those kind of persons for them to understand their placement in life so that they won't just be everywhere? No, we need to discover our niche. So are there tips you can give to this set of persons so that they can understand where they should be and begin to come into platforms like Hackathon? So are there tips you can give to this set of persons, ma'am?
Just so I understand the question correctly, how you can be part of creating real solutions and how to...
Hello, Praise. Hello, Praise. Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
How people can be part of creating real change. Is that the question, or did I get it correctly?
Yes, that's that's the question.
Well, I think I would like to refer to what the previous speaker, Brighton Kauma, also said, that it's important to find your context, find platforms, if it's Hack for Earth, or if it's SDS and Youth, or some other platform, a community where others want to work with you on taking real action. Because it's out there, and the more we are the more people who join these kind of platforms, the more power we will get. And the more impact we will be able to bring to the world. Yeah, that's it. And the one thing that is good with our society today, that is fairly easy to connect online with people with the same interests and passions as you all over the world. And that is one thing that we should take into account when looking for an outlet. How can I take my experience and my competence and my view and bring it to the table to create real change and real impact? And so I think, yeah, but of course, I would speak for everyone joining Hack for Earth, but there are several others, as I said.
All right, okay, ma'am. And the next question someone asked was, do you advise? Okay, I just still hope I can be here. Okay, the next question is, do you advise starting alone? Now, for instance, for someone who has an idea that revolves around climate, and the person doesn't really have the funding, but then sees an organization already doing something like that. Now, you advise that this person joins that organization, or the person can just find ways to begin on his or her own?
Difficult question. Of course, I think it's in this day and age and what we're trying to accomplish, it's always hard to do it all by yourself. I believe in the power of collaboration and the power of bringing different perspectives to the table, and that synergies would come out of bringing different competences and experiences together. So I think we're stronger together than by ourselves. But of course, you don't want to lose your solution. I understand the question, but working together is always that prefer. That is what I would say.
Okay, all right, ma'am. So we have 9 minutes. We are aware that you would have to go for something else at 3. Okay, so I would just still, I have one more question left. But I would want to ask the present audience what we have at the moment to know if any one of them has a question. So I'll throw it up to the audience now. Please, if you have a question, we have an amazing keynote speaker here. So please, can you put up your hands so we can allow you ask your question? Okay, so we have Dr. Sudhi. I hope I did pronounce it well. Okay, Dr. Sudhi, you can ask your question. I think I saw your hand. Okay, we also have Bright.
Yes. Hello.
You can go first.
Myself, Dr. Sudhi Joshi. I'm a senior government health officer in Government of Gujarat, India. And I'm a founder and director in SDG Brigade India. And we are preparing next generation by applying 3I: inform, inspire, and integration. So youth come forward for sustainable goals, and we assign them various tasks, various projects, and we are organizing various events also. My one question is that after all, we want sustainable globe. What is the easiest method for SDG integration? After all, without integration, we will not get any effect or impact. So my straight question is how can we make easiest way for integration of SDG?
Okay, just so I understand you correctly, how can we implement the solutions? Is that your question? Yes, but
integration.
When you say integrating, you mean implementing them, making them come to life. Yes, that is actually the main reason I quit my job in public sector for the Swedish government, because I realized it was really hard to make the solutions that came out of the hackathons that I organized come to life. Several of them have come to life and are now in service to the citizens of society, both in Sweden and in many other countries, but not enough, not all of them. So that is why the solutions that win Hack for Earth, the 7 category winners, part of the prize is coming to Expo 2020 in Dubai to present on stage for the head jury group. But also the prize is to become part of the customized acceleration program called Build for Earth. And this acceleration program will continue for 6 months until end of June 2022. And it entails contacts with all of our 32 partner organizations. So there will be a matching process with them. So I have a lot of experience in doing this for the past few years within Hack for Sweden. So I'm really excited about creating an acceleration program that I really believe has good potential of bringing the solutions to life, because it's so much that they need, because it's a whole different thing of creating a solution and making it come to life. You need different kinds of competences, maybe different types of people in the team. You need psychological trust within the team. You also need, of course, pitch advice and business advice, and the right connections with the right organization at the right time. Money is, of course, important, but that is not all. If that was the answer, all of the good solutions would be in place right now. and they're not. I'm really looking forward to creating Build for Earth, and we're really excited about that. So I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not, but you need the big organizations on board, but also you need for the team to get really a lot of hands-on support in their journey to making their solution come to life. Was that an answer to your question, Dr. Sudhi?
Okay, Dr. Sudhi, are you here?
Yes, I'm hearing. I'm agree with ma'am.
Okay, okay, all right, thank you very much. So, Mr. Bright, can we have you? You can ask a question, Mr. Bright. I think we saw you raise up your hand.
All right. Yeah, I did raise my hand. Greetings to everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome.
My question is, thank you. My question is, I've heard a lot of interest or a challenge to young people to basically create solutions to things that we're seeing and envision things and all of that. Now, I'm talking as somebody who has envisioned something, created a solution. My only challenge is actually having it become a public thing so that people start using it. And by that, I mean, I have an innovation to address a certain problem that I've seen, experienced, firsthand, quite passionate about it. It's here on my phone working. I've knocked on organization doors and organization doors. Guys, here is something. And yet nobody seems to be, giving it a time of day. How do we overcome that challenge? Because I feel it's a huge. The innovation I talked about is something to do with epilepsy here in Zambia. It's something that's really overlooked, and I thought, let's build that innovation, a mobile application to help these people who are sometimes even dying from their epileptic seizures. Let's build an application that can allow them to go for help. Now, no one seems to be taking it up. How do we solve that?
I don't have a very good answer to that one, because I think we need a shift in mindset in all parts of society, where we value everyone's contribution to finding solutions to the global challenges. And right now, that is not the case. We are making a difference on who says it. I think we're having this dialogue today because we believe it's important to lift young people's participation in global development, of course, because they're not being seen enough or heard enough as it is. So this mind shift has to take place on all different parts in society, from CEOs to global leaders and everyone, realizing that everybody needs to be on board. Because I hear that this has been a struggle for you, and I can just say that I hope it resolves, but I don't have a good solution, unfortunately. But hoping that this mind shift will definitely take place.
Okay. Mr. Bright, is that okay with you?
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it really does bring out to that. So yeah, hoping more organizations, large organizations that see the need, can jump on board and start working with people that have ideas, such as myself.
Okay. Well, I still believe that within the contents of the other speakers, the panel discussion, some things will still come forth and you'll get clarity on this. Okay, so it's already 3.
Yeah.
And she would love to leave us, so we'll be giving her the opportunity to go. So we want to really appreciate Can you turn on your mic and say a few words before you leave us? Can you say something to us before
Yes.
you go?
I just want to thank you all for tuning in today and joining me and giving me the time to talk to you. I really hope I see you at Hack for Earth this fall. Please go to hackforearth.com and read more about it, and it would be wonderful to see you there. And thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you. Bye.
Ma'am, thank you very much. We would do send out some questions to you because someone just said my question goes to you. So because of your time, you won't be able to answer that question. We could send it to you as a mail and we hope to get your response, ma'am.
Of course. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram or wherever you are on social media and ask me anything there. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you so much for that section, which entails the keynote speakers talking to us and speaking from their different point of view and their expertise. So quickly, we would be going into the panel section. But before that, we would still love to look at some other questions. I could see some questions here. Okay, one is going to Anne Molin and, oh, wow. Okay, so we'll allow Mr. Bright to talk to us. We'll be leaving in 2 minutes. So please, Mr. Bright, can you come up to say something to us before you leave? Thank you very much. Mr. Brighton, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much, and apologies that I couldn't stay for the entire program because of another recurring engagement. But I'm very grateful to speak today, and I wish you nothing but the very best. Please, let's stay connected, let's stay in touch, look up what we're doing at SDSN Youth, and let's continue to collaborate. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mr. Brighton. You're really doing amazingly well. Being a youth, it's a challenge to every one of us here today. So thank you so much, and we'll definitely connect with you. Thank you. All right, so we'll be moving into the next section so we don't waste so much time. I wanted to give time for questions as relates Mr. Brighton, but since he's already leaving, we'll just go into the panel section quickly. And this is going to be an interactive section. So please, everybody here, everyone who has come to join us here, please ensure you're noting down your questions as they speak so that we can ask them immediately and they get to respond to our questions. So please ensure you're noting down and ensure you're taking notes while they get to speak. This is a section that you may never get anywhere else. So please let's ensure we are taking notes. And I'll be calling forth our panelists immediately. And the first person we have here is Mr. David. Mr. David, are you with us? Mr. David, are you with us? Okay, Miss Anita Grace, I think I did see you.
Hello.
Okay, all right, welcome. I can't see Mr. David. Okay, Miss Anita Grace, welcome. We are really glad to have you here. So you're joining in from where? What part of the country? What part of the nation, rather?
Yeah, so I'm joining you all today from Nairobi, Kenya.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yeah, good afternoon to you all. Really excited to be here. I've loved listening to what Brighton and Anne had to say about like just the way forward in terms of youth engagement at the global level. So yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Mr. Emeka Mukocha, I want to just call an all-new committee to advocate. Mr. Emeka Mukocha,
yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone.
That's for correct. I said Dr. Emeka Mukocha, right?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Yes. I was saying, amazing. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Yes, I am. Emeka Mukocha. I'm a final year medical student. So in a couple of months, I will be official doctor. But thank you for saying that. And then based in Russia, but Nigeria for I've been in Nigeria for a while. So I'm right now joining you from Abuja, Nigeria. So yeah, that's just me.
Right, congrats. I'll support you.
You're very kind. Thank you.
All right, welcome. We'll get to the question section. Mr. Emmanuel Akko, are you here with us?
Hi, everyone.
Okay, welcome. Can we see you?
Yeah, I think my camera is on.
Okay. I think I can now. Okay, welcome. I think the only person not here at the moment is Mr. David. Mr. David, I think he's the only person. Well, we'll still move. I probably he will still join us. So the first thing we'll be doing will allow each of you to introduce yourselves. I know I didn't really allow you to do that. I just allowed you to say something. So you just introduce yourself in a minute and just tell us what you do. Then before we begin to ask our questions. So we'll begin with Mr. Emmanuel Akko this time. So we are beginning from the last person now. So Mr. Emmanuel Akko, can we hear from you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Akor Emmanuel. I'm a PhD student at the University of Iowa. I'm based in Iowa City, USA. I was born and raised in Benue State, Nigeria, and moved to the United States for college. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice to have you on board. All right, so Dr. Emeka Mukocha.
Yes, I think I already said everything I was supposed to say earlier. Yes, I'm Emeka Mukocha. I know you're a student. Russia.
Check that before. There's this sound we can hear. I think.
Are you saying that you're hearing a sound?
Yes, from your background.
Okay. Are we good now?
Right, are you using the airplane?
I can actually hear the sound. It was from somewhere else.
Okay, you can hear it as well.
I can hear the sound that you're hearing. I don't know where it's coming from.
Oh, wow. Okay, all right, no problem. Okay, let's have Miss Anita Grace. Yes, let's have you. Before Dr. Emeka comes on board. From Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. Welcome.
Okay, hi all. So I hope you can hear me clearly. I am the project lead for the SG Students Program, which is under Brighton Kauma's general leadership. So I am the program lead for a program that basically works with young people all over the world in terms of SDG engagement and local action. So we facilitate, train, and help our students all over the world to basically not only promote action, but also do their own actions towards the sustainable development goals.
All right, so good to have you. Thank you very much. And okay, Dr. Emeka, we can hear you now.
Is it okay? Is the sound still there?
Yeah, but you can go on. We can still hear you.
Okay, I'm hoping we can resolve that. Just quickly, yes, I am. You said a medical student, final year, in Abuja. But then currently in Abuja, Nigeria. Apart from that, I happen to be a writer. I'm a mentor. I'm a public speaker as well. And generally, my passion, my aim, whatever it is you want to call it, is to inspire people to action, and is to encourage people into doing all that they are supposed to do, become all that they're supposed to become. So basically, that's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Okay, Mekano Kocha. So Mr. David is not yet here. So quickly we'll go right to the question. So the first question, so now we'll be starting with Miss Anita Grace. So the first question we have, this question goes to everyone. So we'll be given 2 minutes or less to address the question. So looking at the theme and looking at what we are all here for, we are talking about the role of young people in global youth dialogue. So the first question we would really like every one of you to talk on is how can young people, despite limitations, contribute their role in global development? And specifically, we want you to really be experiential. Now, if you've had limitations, we would love you to share it with us. We don't really want just head knowledge. We want you to share your experience with us. So if you've had limitations at the time of course, you're still growing, yeah, but then you've gotten to a particular height that most young people have not gotten to. So if there are limitations you experience, we'd love you to share with us and tell us how we can really contribute our role in global development. So we'll begin with you, Ms. Anita Grace.
Okay. I'm not sure if I understood the question correctly, but I can just so I think the question is what limitations I've faced and how I've been able to overcome them to get to where I am today, basically.
Exactly.
Okay. So I would say some of the first few limitations is that as a young person in Africa, people don't really let you have your voice heard. The people who are supposed to be heard are supposed to be older, people who have experience, people who have gone out and they've basically been able to do very amazing things. So starting from when I was little, I would say, you're always told, no, listen to the grown-ups. And I think the thing that has helped me overcome that is sometimes I just have really good questions to ask. I would want to know why it is that you are doing that. And I think just that having that curiosity and that wanting to know has been one of the things that has helped me to get where I am today, because curiosity is what makes young people. We want to know, we want to be involved, we want to be part of what is going on in terms of whether it's development, whether it's just our local politics, whether it's just discussing like something as simple as social reforms. It's not very simple, but something as yeah. So I think just having that curiosity and the open-mindedness to also follow every single opportunity handed to you, because I think that from my experience, there have been a lot of closed doors. Even as Brighton was explaining, you see a lot of people who within your local community are just struggling to get by. So taking every opportunity that's been given to you and just maximizing it and working hard is what I would say has gotten it here, basically.
Okay, that's amazing. I have a personal question for you, but I'll just reserve it for now. Okay, so I'll move to Dr. Emeka Wokola. Can we hear from you on the same question? I hope you got it clearly.
Yes, I did. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Okay, great. I think what Anita said was just spot on, because I think one of the biggest challenges young people have is the fact that we are seen as too young or inexperienced to be able to say anything. But then, while that is true, at the same time, I think for me, my personal life, I think one of my biggest challenges to doing anything of note, to doing anything significant, is just my own internal dialogue with myself. The stories you tell yourself, the things you tell yourself over and over again. It's one thing to hear from outside, and sometimes you're also dealing with your own, because you know your insecurities, you know your limitations. I'm not knowledgeable enough. I'm not old enough. I'm not this. And so all those insecurities, I think for me personally, that's one of the biggest things I've had to deal with. The mind games that are kind of like fought, that actually I think have hindered me the most from like actually doing anything of note. Currently I'm working on a book, and I remember it took me a long time to actually muster up the energy or the wherewithal to actually step out and start working on the book. But then I did. But it was a challenge because I needed constant validation and things like that. So I think, and I'll address this, when we get to some of the other questions. But then I think one of the most important things about young people is speaking to their mind and speaking to the inner person in there, the person who we don't see every day, or the person that we don't see at all. Speaking to your limitations and your insecurities, and letting you know that you can actually transcend the things that you think are limiting you, and even with your limitation, you can do more. Yeah, so we'll be talking more about that, but for me, that's basically it.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Emmanuel Ako, same question.
Same question. How can young people, soar above limitations they're facing? And I think you also talked about being practical and giving experiences. I think one of the ways young people can succeed despite limitations is looking out for opportunities and utilizing them well, connecting with people, just like Anne said, and also believing that everything is possible. Whatever your dream is, whatever your aspirations are, you need to believe that it's possible, despite you, in spite of the fact that your present environment or your present surrounding does not support that dream or that goal. You need to believe that it's possible. And the truth is, every young person who's in Africa right now, every young person who's in Nigeria, who's in Kenya, who's in Ghana, who's in South Africa, you face some type of limitation when it comes to becoming who you really want to be. That's a fact. The environment we live in does not afford us the opportunity to be the best we can be. That's why you find out that when people leave Africa and go out to other Western nations, they're very good at what they do. So having that understanding, you need to know that you have to be able to maximize whatever opportunity you have. And you need to be very good at what you do. Once you're good at what you do, someone is going to find you out. If you're good in science, if you're good in technology, if you're good in sports, you just need to keep pushing yourself and keep maximizing the opportunities you have. Like I said, and finding your space. You need to find what you're good at. You need to find what you're comfortable at. I think one of the problems with young people is most times we want to do everything at the same time, and it really doesn't work out that way. You need to find one or two things that you're good at, and just keep at it. And with time, someone is going to notice that, hey, someone is over there doing something really nice, and they're going to look for you and they're going to pick you out. Like I said, I was born in Nigeria. I was in the same boat as most of you are right now, but I kept pushing. I made sure I did well in school. I made sure while I'm not trying to say I'm better than everyone else, but while most people were like doing the other different stuff, I made sure I was focused on my school, and because of that, I got good results, and I was able to use that, to look for opportunities outside the country, outside Nigeria, and that is what has helped me to this point. So you need to maximize whatever opportunity you have right now, and good times will definitely come. So yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for responding to the first round of questions. I will allow Victor to come in. I'm aware Mr. Emmanuel needs to leave us probably as soon as possible. So I'll allow Victor to come in to take the next round of questions. Thank you. Victor, the floor is yours.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Praise. I wish to say a big thank you to all our speakers. First to our keynote speakers, to Anne Molin, to Mr. Brighton, and Manuel Paul, Anita, and Mika, and all our audience. I will take the next round of questions. And Mr. Emmanuel. Hello, Mr. Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yes. Today we are considering the role of young people in global development. And I would love to ask, as an engineer in the making, how can young people contribute or be featured in the technically in the aspect of engineering and innovations? How can we young people be featured in this sector?
Yeah, this question actually relates to what I just said, right? So right now, engineering is moving. It's becoming more research focused, right? And everything is kind of intertwined. So I think for young people, if you need to be featured in innovation, if you need to be featured in engineering, then you have to take hold of every.
Sorry, hello, Emmanuel. We could barely hear you. Can you be louder, please?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes. Can you be a bit audible than that?
Oh, now can you hear me?
Yeah, better. Yes, it's better.
Okay, perfect. So I was saying, if young people want to be featured in engineering, if young people want to be featured in science, if young people want to be featured in research, it's huge that you connect with people who have gone ahead of you. There's so many opportunities out there for people to get involved in engineering, and you need to connect with the right people. I think one of the reasons why people are not really standing out or participating is because of ignorance. I know about so many engineering opportunities that people can get involved in, but yeah, no one is reaching out. No one is asking questions. And if you're not well trained in research, there is no way you're going to be featured in research. Now I have the opportunity to attend conferences. Now I have the opportunities to speak about the research I'm doing. But that is because I've been afforded the kind of training that I have right now. But if you don't have certain kind of trainings, you will not be featured. Dr. Emeka, for example, now he's going to be a doctor. He's going to have so many opportunities to speak about what he's working on. That is because he's been trained to become a doctor. That is because he's been trained to be versatile in what he's doing. If you're not trained, if you're not well trained in engineering, in science and technology, it's almost impossible for you to be featured. if that makes sense.
Yes, I can really relate to that because I myself am in the same sector, and as an organization, we really seek to look deeply into this area, the area of technology and innovation, because we have seen right here in Africa that there are many young persons that are endowed with potentials. They have the skill, they have the knowledge, but the issue is they don't have the right opportunity. Yeah, they don't have the right information to connect it to the right networks that will help scale up their ideas and innovations. And so probably this may be my last question for you. Since you have another critical meeting you need to attend to, you made mention in your response that you attend conferences. And so can you, for the benefit of young people all over the world that are watching you right now, can you highlight to us some of these opportunities that will help them to scale up their networks and also help them to upscale their innovations, their contribution to the technological sector?
So I think the conferences I'm going to be attending, they're specific to what I'm studying in school right now. So I'm doing biomedical engineering, and the conferences are going to be biomedical engineering related. My research is in respiratory or pulmonary mechanics and imaging. My conferences are going to be related to respiratory imaging and respiratory mechanics. The reason why I have the opportunity to attend these conferences is because of what I'm studying. So that is my point. You need to be well trained in something to be able to be featured, in that thing. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah, you cannot just attend any conference. It has to be something that it has to be something that you're well trained in. And also one final thing before I leave, you talked about, I think one other thing that young people in Africa can do to help is maximize social media. You don't have to be in the United States, you don't have to be in Canada, you don't have to be in Australia to show people what you're good at. You can be in Nigeria, you can be in Kenya, you can be in Ghana and do things on social media, and the whole world will know. Social media has connected everyone together. It's like a small world, right? Where I can easily see what someone else in a different country is doing. So if people would maximize social media, I think that would be great.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful response. And while you were speaking, you reminded me of the last conference we had, African Youth Marriage. We had it in July, and one of the speakers actually was speaking. What he said was totally related to what you just said, and it's very, very vital as young people for them to take advantage of the social media, because there are opportunities there that can be of help to their lives. And without taking much of your time again, thank you so much, Mr. Manuel. It's actually a nice moment having you on our program. I hope to see you next time. Even
I think he's having network issues.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for having me.
Can you hear me, Mr. Manuel? Yeah, thank you very much.
Alrighty, thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. So it was actually a moment worthwhile, Mr. Emmanuel Akko, and I'll go straight to Grace Nwagiru. Hello, Miss Grace.
Hello.
Hello, Grace. Yes, nice
Hello?
having you on our platform. Yeah, nice having you on our platform.
Thank
Can you
you for
hear
having
me?
me. Yes, I can. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me.
Okay. As someone that works with the SDSN youth and precisely the deputy and project lead of the SDSN youth. Now, how can young people be properly engaged in the work that the SDSN youth is actually carrying on? How can they be properly engaged so as to contribute their own quota to the development of our world?
Okay. With regarding the work that SSN Youth does, there's definitely different programs that fit different needs. For example, like the program I work with, which is the students program, we deal with university students. So those are people who do not yet have the skills required, and then we train them to get those skills required. So skills in advocacy, skills in presentation, or even just how to hold yourself in a conversation when you're discussing things with partners and things like that. And then you've got the other programs like the Youth Solutions, which works with social entrepreneurs, or the local pathway fellows, which finds fellows within different cities who are already doing like work towards the sustainable development goals. So I think the thing that's necessary when looking to engage with the organization like SSN Youth is finding the program that fits your needs. For example, if you do not have the skills and you need the training, I would say that you would look to the Youth Solutions program, or you would look to the SG Students program, because those programs work with more entry-level youth who need the skills so that they can work towards sustainable development. If you're a bit more advanced in terms of your skills and training, I would say then probably working with the local pathways, or deciding to become a member organization of SDSN so that you can have that network that you can already tap into if you need different things for, like, for example, if you have a CSO or you are working towards something within your local community. I think tapping into that network is very crucial. So I would say it all depends on the level of your skills and training and what you want to get out of it. Sorry, I can't hear you. I think you're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for that response. Well, while you were speaking, you reminded me of something. Actually, as part of our goals as an organization, we seek to empower young people with skills, because a man can never give what he doesn't have. And so you made mention of training young persons, and that's why I'm bringing this up. We empower young people with skills because we got to discover that young people need to be trained. And in this event, we are channeling it to the young persons. And so just like a word of encouragement to young persons, let's try to improve on ourselves, because there are much demands on us as young persons. There are young demands on us. You see, the older generation, they are leaving us, and the baton is being passed on to us. So as young persons, let's endeavor and let's ensure we build on ourselves so as to be more productive, to our world, to our community, and to add more to the society. Thank you once again, Anita. Permit me to go to Mr. Emeka. Yes, yeah, permit me to go to Mr. Emeka. Hello, Emeka.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice to have you on this platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. Great to be here.
Thank you. Yes, straight to the question. Now,
yes,
as someone in the medical line, research has shown that most diseases are more pronounced in the young sectors, in the young category of our society. Because if you look at HIV/AIDS, look at other diseases, they are more pronounced in among the young persons. So why is this so? Because I believe that as someone in the medical line, you have much to say about that.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, the first thing I want to say about this is that we have sort of like an epidemic on our hands when it comes to young people, because, like you just said, young people are one of the most vulnerable, in every space and place, on the planet. Young people are the most vulnerable when it comes to, sicknesses and diseases and any other kind of physically limiting challenge, or whatever it is you want to say. And the reasons for this are multiple. Like for example, starting right from conception, right from pregnancy, there are lots of things that, young people have to contend with, deformities and genetic issues and genetic malformations and all of that. And then you're dealing also with trauma and abuse in adolescence and in infancy, older people, the society being very rough and all of that. You have older people or different kinds of people who are inflicting injuries or who are doing things that are traumatizing young people or exposing them to things that are potentially going to harm them both in the present and in the future. And because young people are very vulnerable, even just physically and then emotionally as well, psychologically, it's easy for anyone to lure a young person into any kind of vice. For example, alcoholism or tobacco use, excessive tobacco use, or it's easy to rape a toddler. It's easy to rape an adolescent because they are vulnerable in society. And so we have several things. And if you want me to just go a little bit technical here, not to bore anybody, but then generally speaking as well, when we're talking about the physical body, there is a part of medicine that has to do with adolescents and children, and we call that pediatrics. And in pediatrics, one thing that is repeated over and over again is that the immune system of adolescents and children and young people is significantly lower than in an adult. So that means automatically a young person is susceptible to different kinds of viruses and diseases and all of that, because already they are sort of like put in a disadvantageous position by nature. All right. So that's why we take extra care with children and adolescents, because of so many of these reasons. So you're looking at many things. I could talk on and on about this, but you're looking at the vulnerability of a child or of an adolescent with regards to their immune system and their immune defenses. You're looking at their vulnerability in regards to not being able to protect themselves from societal influences and peer pressure, and then the abuse of older people, adults, or stronger teenagers, if you're dealing with an infant or whatever it is. So basically, these are some of the general things that can be said about the vulnerability of young people in the world today.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Emeka.
Yes,
that
sir.
was very amazing and wonderful. And you know that in addition to what you said, young people, this proves that young people are very, very key to our world, because you can discover that since most diseases are more pronounced among the young persons now, and also report has shown that young persons comprise of the majority of the world's population. And so can you imagine that majority of the young persons in the world are being infected with a certain kind of disease. Imagine how fast that disease we go around the world. And so that shows us that young are very important, and also their needs to be attended to. Their needs need met, because I also believe that one of the reasons why young persons they face some certain things that look as if they are unproductive, it's because the privileged ones in the society are not actually meeting the needs of the young persons. So in their quest to satisfy their needs and desires, they fall into all sorts of issues and challenges that it's very, very detrimental to our society. Yes, I'll get back to you. Right now, I'll go straight to Miss Grace and Nwagiru, sorry. Yes. Hello, Miss Grace.
Hello. Sorry.
Yes.
I think my video is a bit. Yes, sir.
Yes. I would love to ask this question. Now, there is a need for young people to come to the table. There is a need for young people to come to the table of decision making, the table of planning, and all kinds of table that result to the betterment of our society. Now, how can young people, speaking from the standpoint of an official in the SDSNU, how can young persons come to the table? How can they be properly represented at the table to also give their own contributions to issues that are very paramount to the society?
I mean, that's a very difficult question to answer, because I think the thing with coming to the table, that means that whoever is at that table has to share the power, the knowledge. They have to share a lot of things with that young person. And the problem we see, even when we open discussions or open that dialogue so that you can start having those conversations, is that people tend to be very resistant to the idea of a young person having that knowledge or having that capability. As we've seen with recently, there was an article that discussed the climate crisis and how Greta Thunberg should be listening to older people who have the knowledge, the experience. And when you look at it, she is already in that position where she's speaking to people at like a global, like governments, the UN, but people are still looking at her like, no, you're a young person. You should still listen to what other people have to say. And I think that's the problem we see. People don't want to share the power. So sometimes you have to take it either by being the loudest person, which is not always, it does not end up looking good on you, but it is useful to be the loudest person. So if, for example, if you are fighting for something, be the person who's fighting for it consistently. Because I think even consistency with young people is a problem, because one day you want to fight for this, you want to fight for that, you want to fight for that, but finding that one thing that you say, okay, I am committed to this, this is what I'm going to advocate for, I'm going to fight for. I think it's important to be consistent. It's important to, once you get that platform, for example, like working with SSN Youth, a lot of our coordinators get to talk to a lot of people in very high positions. Once you have that platform, is making your stance, making your voice heard, and letting people understand why it is you say what it is and why you believe what you do. So having that knowledge, so even if it's just you doing your own like background research or attending as many events so that you can know, because I did that as well. Before even I joined SSN Youth, I used to attend as many events as I needed so that I could gain the knowledge, because I wanted to work on a global level. I had done youth work like in Kenya on its own, but I wanted to get to the next stage. So I did the research, I did the work, I put in the work. So I think that's also important, so that once you get the opportunity, you have sound judgment in what you're saying.
Okay, and thank you so much for that contribution. And you know, it's very, very important, particularly this question, because can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. If you can vividly remember, many years ago, the United Nations General Assembly have said that and nations of the world should allow young persons to participate at the General Assembly, which holds yearly in the New York. And so, but we can see that most countries, we have over 180 thereabout countries in the world, but the number of countries that are being represented at the United Nations General Assembly in comparison with the number of countries we have all over the world, you can see that there is no alignment, and because most countries have not allowed young persons to, or have not allowed their young persons to be part of the General Assembly. So it's very important that young persons come in to the table. They come up to the table to partner, not actually to beg, because young persons, they have the ideas, they have the creativity. They can actually make decisions that will take us further. Because if you take a look at history, you discover that many decisions that changed the then world were made by young persons. And so it's very, very important that those in power, those in authority, give young persons the privilege to come up to the table and make decisions that also add to our society. So we will come back to you. Before then, I would love to share this with us. After this section, one of the SG coordinators in Nigeria, student hub coordinators in Nigeria, person of Abiam Bridget, she will come up after this session to share with us, to give us a brief report on how young persons, precisely undergraduates, right here in Nigeria, are actually making impact and contributing to sustainable development. And so after my last patient, so Mr. Emeka, then praise, we take on from there. So hello, Emeka.
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Now, still speaking from relating to you as someone in the medical line, how can young persons contribute positively to this sector? Because the advent of the coronavirus has revealed to us our vulnerability. You could discover that there are many countries that are very weak in the health sector. So how can young persons come in to positively contribute to these health sectors?
Yeah, that's a very important question. Thank you for asking that. And I feel like it would be great to have these kind of questions asked in several places and spaces so that we can get more people involved in the medical field. And let me just say right off the bat here that making an impact in the medical field is not limited to medically inclined people. Okay, let me just say that. It is not inclined to people who went to school to study medicine or nursing or anything, medically related. Every single one of us has a stake when it comes to our health and well-being. And I'm going to be saying a couple of things here, but then first of all, of course, let me just say this, of course, we need more staff members. We need more people actually studying medicine, right? I'm not saying everyone should, but like you was talking about when Corona hit, there was a shortage of staff in hospitals and medical facilities. So we actually need more people who will take an interest in medicine and actually say, okay, I'm going to study this and contribute there. So that's obvious. That's one thing. But then not everybody can study medicine or will want to study medicine. Okay, we can't have everyone study medicine in terms of like not everybody can be a doctor. But then there are so many things you can do. I wanted to just mention something earlier in the program. There was a guy who asked a question. I think his name was Bright. He was talking about how in Zambia he has challenges with, getting the people, organizations. I don't know if he's still here, but I hope I'm not messing this question up. But he had a question about getting organizations who have, the resources and the capabilities to make an impact in things that matter, especially in the health sector. He was talking about epilepsy, for example. Getting them is kind of difficult. It seems like nobody's listening. That's a very real problem, and I want to start there. You see, even though that's a very real problem, and you will most likely, or rather, you should expect that. And I want to say this to everyone: you should expect that a lot of people are actually in doing things for money, or they're just concerned about their own progress. Organizations already have things that they are working towards, and many people will not care if you just walk up to them. Some will, hopefully they do. But what happens when they don't? So my challenge to you is that do not allow yourself to give up. First of all, realize that you have a voice. That's the first place that you're supposed to start at. Realize that you have a voice. As a young person, you may not have the experience that you're supposed to have, even though how are you supposed to get experience when you're still just starting out? But anyway, you may not have the experience, you may not have the expertise, you may not have some of the things that older people say young people should just keep quiet about, or whatever it is. But you have a voice, and it's your voice that is important. I mean, as a medical person working in hospitals and all of that, I have realized that half of the problems we experience or encounter in hospitals are out of ignorance. A lot of people come into the hospital, into consultation with our doctors, and asking us questions both in the hospital and out, and you can just tell that they have done something to themselves unknowingly, because they didn't have proper information. So for us in the hospital who are already sick and have issues and all of that, but then there is a greater problem outside the walls of the hospital. We want more people to help us in educating the people outside, to tell them some of the very simple things that they are overlooking and don't realize are costing them their health and well-being. For example, when we talk about, for example, violence, for example, physical abuse and things like that, we need more people to go out of their way to say, okay, I'm going to find a way to get on social media, or go to a radio station, or find a way to collaborate with a media outlet to say that the violence against women and children should stop, or against young people should stop. I'm going to use my voice. So you may not have money, you may not have some of the trappings of power and influence, but you have a voice, and it's so important that you use your voice, because it's very necessary. I mean, using your voice will help us solve at least 50% of the issues and the pandemics and the epidemics we have in the world today. Let's look at HIV/AIDS. You mentioned that, Victor, earlier. HIV/AIDS is literally, and thank God, that now there's so many good things are happening there. We've had major breakthroughs in medicine, with a malaria vaccine almost coming out, a HIV vaccine already being worked on, a new treatment for sickle cell, and all of these kind of things, which is great. But you see, when it comes to HIV/AIDS, for example, one of the biggest problems we have is not that, apart from the fact that there is an infection and a lot of people are dying and all of that, our other monster in the cupboard is stigma. Stigma, the stigmatizing of young people, for being HIV positive, or for having AIDS. It's the stigma, and we want a situation where people can actually, that's people who are not, who do not have the virus or whatever, that they will go out and show and give emotional and psychological support to the people who are actually sick, to let them know that HIV/AIDS HIV and AIDS is not a death sentence, to let them know that they can actually lead normal lives if they take their drugs and do what they're supposed to do, but then they can be seen as normal. So, and this is just an example. We're dealing with, for example, alcohol and drug abuse. How much information is out there to let people know that there are other ways of relaxation and recreation and fun that do not have to involve harmful substances like alcohol and drugs. You see, so we're talking about education, using your voice. Number 2 is support, emotional support, being there for your friends and family members, and also using your voice still. I'm going back to the voice thing, using your voice still to let people out there know that there is that being sick is not a verdict on the character of their personalities, because we do that as people a lot. We turn people who are sick into saying, okay, because you have this kind of virus, then you have an issue with your morality or whatever it is. No, let's end that. Let's just end that. Let's just say we're going to support you and help you recover and recuperate back to full and normal health. And I think the final thing I want to say is, apart from education or using your voice and support, the final thing I want to say is sponsorship. So first of all, I want to say thank you, Victor and Praise, and everyone who is in the SDG Hub and everyone who's part of this. Thank you for creating a platform like this that actually helps us, that helps youths, participate in moving positive change. Thank you for this. All right. Thank you to Anita Mwagiru from Kenya. Your SSN youth and all that you do is so important, super important. And I'm so grateful that you have such facilities and vehicles that will help move information out and will help empower people. And so I want to encourage other youths here who may not have heard about these vehicles and all of that to please take a look at these organizations and say, let me partner with you. How can I partner with you? You can partner financially. You can partner, and let me just say something about finances. You don't have to have $1 million in your account to partner financially with any organization. It can be some of the treatments we require for many patients are actually quite cheap. And just by giving a little bit here, a little bit there, you can actually help take somebody from literally hanging by a thread to life and into health and well-being. And so I want to encourage you to partner with organizations like SSN Youth and the SDG Hub. Look, I've never met Anita until today, right? I've never seen her, heard her before until today. But then knowing what she does, and Brighton and everyone else, Victor and Praise, and all of these vehicles are so important because, for example, you can partner with such organizations, can partner with medical facilities or medical outlets, health facilities, health outlets, NGOs, to actually push this thing forward. Let me say this, and this will be the last thing I'll say before I go off. But then, women and girls, young women, young girls are even more at risk in our society. All right. There's early pregnancies and childbirth and all of that. And then we have, many issues with the fact that a lot of ladies, you'll be surprised, especially in Africa, a lot of girls and ladies cannot afford, menstrual pads, for example. All right. And so many of these kinds of things. There are multiple organizations that actually give out free menstrual pads, for example, or information about birth control, or information about so many things. I could talk about this for days, but my point here is partner with some of these groups, sponsor some of these groups, get involved. I think it was Emmanuel that said that earlier. Don't just sit down and let life pass you by. Make an impact, something that your generation and the generation after you will thank you for. You have a voice. First of all, start there. You may not have the money, you may not have any, but you can start with your voice. You can start with partnering with people who actually have a larger platform and saying, let me partner with you. Let me see how we can work together in collaboration to get things done. You see, so that's basically what I have to say about that. So it's using your voice, it's support for those who are vulnerable and those who are at risk. And then also it is sponsorship. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Emeka. You've spoken absolutely well, and what you said is it's actually true. Now, young persons may not have the money, but they have the mind. They may not have, they may not be medically inclined in that sector of the medical field, but there are ways in which they can pragmatically contribute to these sectors. Because why I'm saying this is that right here in Nigeria, we have a lot of young persons that are doing crazy things just to positively contribute to the health sectors. Like, take for instance, Youth with a Difference. Yeah, Youth with a Difference is actually an organization co-founded by Praise Akobo. Now, they are doing massively well. They may not be totally inclined to the health sectors, but I tell you the truth, they are making their input. Yeah, they are making their input. And so I believe that young persons, whether or not we are in the medical field, our health is our concern. The well-being of our societies are concerned. If there is an epidemic in a community, for instance, if there is an epidemic in a community, take for instance, now it go wild, and it doesn't have respect for age, whether you are young, you are old, you are an infant. And so young persons, whether or not we are in the medical line, I believe that we should make our own contributions. It may be by profiling ideas, creative ideas that could help the medical practitioners, and it could also be by partnering with organizations that can help the less privileged ones. Like in some places where we have IDPs, in internally displaced persons. Yeah, the ladies there, they may need pads to help themselves, and they may be challenged with malaria and typhoid. And so I don't need to be a doctor to know what to do. I can partner with organizations, big organizations that can help, that can support these persons, disadvantaged ones. So thank you once again, Mr. Maker. Yes, I crave your indulgence to please stay with us. We will soon be rounding up. Yes, we will soon be rounding up. And before Abby and Bridget comes up, permit me to welcome Praise back to the stage. Hello, Praise. Hello, Praise.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. Our amazing speakers and panelists, want to really appreciate you for the section so far. And I think we just have Miss Grace Wagiru. I hope I did pronounce the name well. She has informed us that she had to leave. So I think the only person we have at the moment should be Dr. Emeka Okocha, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so he has already told you that, as Victor has already said, you should stay with us. I will really appreciate that, at least to have one of the panelists stay with us till the end of the section. So quickly, I would just love to say that on a general note, looking at the role of young people towards global dialogue is a topic that is needful for the season. You know, just yesterday, I was speaking to someone from Poland, and we're trying to see how we can reach out to schools, and the project is currently on. We're starting effectively on Monday until the upper week, that's 19th October. And the idea is that we want to actually begin from the grassroots, which is primary schools. So we are going to collate data in as much as we are coming out with some kind of mind games to make them begin to know how to think outside the box but then we are going to collate data to know their skills and passion. So with that, we can know how to begin to step in from that grassroots level. So if these guys, these young ones rather, can begin to understand their roles from this stage, then seriously, when they get to the tertiary institution and really become youths, we won't have issues. So every aspect we've talked about, the health, the engineering sector, the economic, okay, Mr. David couldn't come up today, but virtually every aspect we are talking about still comes to a point whereby they meet. And it begins from, just like they've all said, it begins from us. We will have to begin from where we are, start from where you are, begin with your voice, and you will begin to move into every other aspect of life. So I won't want to waste much of our time. I would love to call Bridget to give us an overview on what it is like in Nigeria as regards SDGs. So Bridget, you have the floor. Welcome on board.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. Really appreciate the speakers and the panelists, especially Brighton, who is my director at the SDSN Youth, and then Anita, who is my project lead at the SG Students Program. So I am Abian Bridget, an SG coordinator at the Joseph Dawan Taka University here in Makurdi. So I just want to say, like the topic said, the role of youth, young persons in global development. I actually know that as youths, we all ought to know that we all have a role to play in creating change, because we call ourselves change makers at youth. And then if you sit down and don't start doing something, I don't think you want to create change, because you see other youths doing, you find yourselves in a peer group like schools. You just have to think with persons and then what can we do exactly? What is it that I can do to actually bring change in my community? You can actually start in your campus, where you are, your community, your neighborhood. Like when I joined the SG Students program, I actually didn't have the courage to actually speak out, actually have a means to make my voice to be heard. But I actually saw an opportunity through the SDSN Youth, and then I grabbed it. So the SDG Students Program is just simply to engage with especially Nigerian students, sorry, university students, to act, to engage, and to also educate persons about the SDGs. There are 17 goals, and then these 17 goals covers every problem, every issue in the world. If you tackle one, you're actually impacting a change into your society, actually taking a step to create change in your own way. I can simply say I want to add on SG 5, it's quality education. I don't need to just maybe I don't need to go and start teaching, but gathering young persons around me, teaching them about something, providing a little thing I can provide for them, making them gain knowledge about a little things. There's some persons around you that don't have opportunity to go to school, but you don't have to wait for their parents, because maybe they don't have parents. Like somebody was talking about the IDP camp. I always pass on my way to school and then I see some persons, especially young children, just moving around, and I'm actually really hurt, because these young people are actually supposed to be in school, not roaming around the school. Let me even go back to my university. In the university, there's a village there. Their children, they don't even go to school. They're just there begging around. But I guess if we all come together as youth, we can actually help these youth, actually train them to actually become something great in the society. So I'm just not going to waste time. Just to say to all youths, we all have a role to play. Our voice matters. You just have to speak up. Join, look for somebody, and let's create change together. And let's create change. And I'm also saying thank you to Mr. Emeka. You talked about the girl child especially, and I was actually happy because I love the girl child. Not because I'm a girl, but because I actually see the pain the girl child go through. Like you talked about PAD, talked about a whole lot of things, gender violence. And there was I'll just say something, okay, like in my neighborhood, not even if the girl child is a boy. At the back of my house, there's actually a young boy that somebody brought to, a couple brought to their house, and you just, as midnight, you just be hearing some voices like a cry, and then you wake up the next morning, you hear, I was burnt with iron. I was really hurt, like, why will you maltreat a child like that? I was actually even having an issue with a woman because I was like, if you continue with this, I'm going to take it up to somebody else that is higher than me, and then you go to jail for it because it's actually wrong. You are trying to suppress that child. That child might be, she will end up becoming so vulnerable in the society, and then you'll not be able to impact what has been imbibed in him to give out to the world. So I'm just encouraging every one of us here. Change starts with you and I. So yeah, go out and create change. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Bridget. And we're glad to have you, of course, in the same institution, just as Victor. And first of all, I just want to remind us that 11th October is World Girl Child Day. So just like Bridget mentioned something about the girl child, and Dr. Emeka, am I correct? Yes, Dr. Emeka Wukocha also said same thing. So please, just like we are saying, we are beginning from ourselves. So it means on that day, you necessarily may not do something big. So just at the corner of your house, you can begin from there. So if you have a girl child or children around your vicinity, you could go talk to them about little things. I don't want to call it little things because they are not, but just take it as a call, go speak these words. Now, we also have platforms whereby you could collaborate. Particularly, my organization will be going out on the, I think, 13th. I have to check the schedule on the 13th. We'll be going to a particular school called Padupa. So if you're around Makurdi and you want to join us, you can reach out to me that way. We'll also be distributing parts, just like Dr. Meka Wukocha said. We are part of another organization. Then he said something about the health sector. I wanted to just bring in this. Now, we are currently aware of the Delta virus. People, the whole issue with people saying why is not in the country. Okay, I'm using Nigeria as a case study at the moment. Please, let us be guided. So we're actually running the training on Tuesday where people will be sensitized on the new virus strain. And we'll be doing a field work whereby people would just step out. You choose a particular place you want to go to, you step out and sensitize people about this Delta virus so that they can know what to do. You know, the truth is Nigeria, we're really lackadaisical when it comes to the whole corona thing. But if you've experienced or if you've had someone or you lost someone, you really understand that this is no joke. People get to say that the Lord, of course, but you have to take the necessary precautions as much as you can. So please, let's be guided. I know the whole thing about the vaccine is still there, but all we are still trying to say is ensure that you're doing things the right way and the right steps at every point in time. Then another thing I noted was someone talked about SDG 4. I think it was Bridget's quality education. So I wanted to also note that, which he has said, you necessarily don't have to be a teacher or probably teach. You can do that within your locality. Everything begins with us and us. And we're currently trying to put up a community library in a village here in Makurdi, and the idea is to help out of school children. We actually have a whole number of them here in Benue State, Makurdi. Now, when I was trying to look at the statistics of people in Makurdi that out of school children, wow, you won't want to know. Like, I think after Bauchi, Kano, Katsina, one of the states, I can't recall at the moment, then you'll find Benue State. So for you to know that, I don't know, I'm using Benue because I'm Benue State, so I have to use where I am currently to talk. So please, what I'm trying to say is wherever you are in the country, in the world, if you see people amidst us that are outside Nigeria, just know that this is something necessary and it begins with us. And our collaborative effort and our different pairs will bring it to a limelight. Little steps daily is what will bring this whole thing to become as big as we want it to be. So please, I would at this point, I think I will at this point invite Victor. I don't think I have anything on my template. I'll invite Victor to wrap up. This is already 4:50. We've done 2 hours, 15 minutes, and that's a good one already. It's actually long. So invite Victor to wrap up and give us the headline on what he wants this whole event to look like in the forthcoming section. Because I see this as a follow-up, and there will be other events like this that will come up. So he may want to say something on that so that we can also invite others. So this is me also appreciating everyone. I mean, I may not have this plot to say this again because Victor will just wrap up and end for today. So thank you very much for coming on board. My name remains Pri Akubo, and I'm specifically an emotional intelligence trainer, and I'm the co-founder of Youth with Friends, YOA, and we are currently based in Business State Macaulay, even if from many states we're reaching out to the world. So thank you very much, everyone, for having me. Good to be in this business with you. So Victor, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Praise. Thank you so much, everyone. I'd love to especially appreciate our speakers, and Molly from Sweden, Brighton Kilmer from the United States, Dr. Emeka Nwokocha from Russia, Manuel from the United States, Grace Anita from Kenya, and all our audience. We so much appreciate your presence for turning up for our event. And just a few words before we end this event. As an organization, we are open to collaboration, to partnership, because we all are in the bid to grow our world. We all are in the bid to promote sustainable development. And so I believe that there's a need for a synergy. There is a strong need for synergy, yeah. And I can see that rising from different countries of the world. So let's try to synergize efforts so as to scale up our impact to our world. And again, the hackathon that is coming up, organized by the Hack for Earth Foundation, I encourage everyone to be part of the event. The application is still on. It will be due shortly. So I encourage everyone to be part of the hackathon. You can just log on to their website, go online and log on to their website. You'll see the application link there. You just follow the directives and you apply. So it doesn't take much steps. And also, finally, yes, thank you once again. We hope to see you much more, even as we organize more exciting, impactful, and educative events. Yeah, by the grace of God, coming next month, we'll have another major, impactful, and transforming events. Yes, we'll be having great leaders coming on our platform. I sincerely apologize for the network issue we had today. It was totally not planned for all our gadgets that we arranged. Everything just went bad as against our arrangement. And so my sincere apologies to that on behalf of myself, the Young African Innovators Hub members, and also Praise Akobo, and all our partners, the Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineering, Mechanical Engineers, the UAM chapter, the Chris Graphics, the all our partners. I would love to say we are so sorry for the network issue and the technical challenge, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you so much. For those that are still available, thank you, Mr. Dr. Emeka. Thank you, Abby and Bridget, coordinator of Student Hub, and Joseph Saka University. Thank you, Evans Nguku. Thank you, everybody. And to say at this point, bye-bye to you. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.